Time for the lions. Tell them one story. Listen to the lion voice, yeah? Up.
The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
What do you have to tell the people about Rasta Tafari?
Light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. I left himself. Where's my ruler? Hey yo! Yeah, hear them high, hear the black king born the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them come spread out them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill. The lion will come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at Italy.
It is July, family. So you know what that means. It means that we are taking time to examine the birth of our Blessed Majesty Lidj Tafari McConnell for this entire month on the Lion's Voice Network. We are giving you content related around the birth and the origin story. I am an author. I wrote Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior King. This is volume 1. And this is a story about the birth of His Majesty all over the world on July 23rd. Rastafari community celebrates His Majesty's birth, you know, just as the Christians would celebrate Yeshua on December 25th. Rastafari will celebrate the birth of His Majesty on July 23rd. But we do it with praise and thanksgiving. Nyabingi Isis, you know, some 12 tribes of Israel usually have some shows or dance or some celebratory occasions, and things have sprung up all over the earth. July 23rd is the first day of Leo, so you're entering into the house of the lion in the astrological heavens. I wrote about all of those things in my book. I wanted to read a little bit of the first chapter of my book, just to give you a little vibes of the fullness of this epic story. So today's episode, I want to talk about the great famine that struck Ethiopia prior to the birth of His Majesty. This is one of the seminal aspects of the birth story that we talk about. 3 years of drought that almost crippled the land of Ethiopia. You know, it was at a very delicate time. Emperor Johannes had just been murdered, killed on the battlefield, defending Ethiopia against a jihad invasion from Sudan. Died on the battlefield. Emperor Menelik rose to power, and this was a terrible, you know, so you had war, followed by famine, followed by pestilence. You had typhoon. You also had the Italian cattle virus, a rinderpest that came in through Eritrea, that ravaged through the nation, the livestock. The Ethiopian oxen had no natural defense for it. It said that 90% of the cattle in the country perished during this famine. 1/3 of the people died. You had massive upheaval, people leaving their ancient homes, migrating Tigray. These provinces were decimated. Emperor Menelik marched the army, was about to march an army to Tigray to put down any rebellion from Emperor Johannes' son Ras Mangasha and the famous General Rasta Lula. And he had to turn back because Tigray was so ravaged he couldn't sustain an army marching in there, and they had to ensure Shawa could manage. This famine is not talked about enough. So this famine was called the Kefukan, or the evil days. And one of the reasons that I could write my book like an epic fantasy like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or Marvel Universe or DC Universe or all of these things that people watch. One of the reasons I could write it is because of these type of historical facts. You know, His Majesty, who would be the protagonist in a fiction novel, born at a time where it's ending a famine with falling rain, and his first cries are drowned by thunder. You know, and I have connected the dots that's most likely one of the reasons Ras McConnell gave him the name one to be feared or respected, because you can imagine when thunder clap, especially after a drought, no rain for over 3 years, and then thunder and lightning start clap and lightning start dancing at the sky, and you have your little baby boy, one to be feared or one to be respected, one to be revered. You have to try put yourself, no, it don't mean say it go so, But I'm saying we can take historical license, and connect some dots and present the facts beside each other and let the reader draw the conclusions. But I want to read the first chapter, or from the first chapter. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Buy the book just so you can get an idea how we set the stage. And the first chapter is entitled The Evil Days. And we quote first from Isaiah, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." And, we use that to kick off the book because all of those titles were given to this same baby boy that I wrote about in this book. Put aside if you think he is whoever you think he is, this, that, all of these titles were given to him. So we present the facts, let the people come to their own conclusions as they want. Some people burn up Bible, they don't want to hear nothing about that. That's their prerogative too. They come to another route. At the end of the day, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that he is who we say he is, which is the King of Kings, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah. It says, his first cries were drowned by thunder. The thunder signaled the triumph of his birth. He lived. He survived the perils of childbirth. All his brothers and sisters had been miscarried, delivered stillborn, or died shortly after their birth. 8 children conceived, 8 lives claimed. The angel of death would not claim this child. No one witnessing his birth could have known his battle against death was only beginning. However, in this moment, the moment of his birth, he was victorious. Death did not prevail. The woman who surrounded his mother, the hundreds of people who anxiously awaited his arrival, were witness to a thunderous welcome for the boy child. Their anxiety was partially because it was believed that the boy's mother's previous misfortunes with childbirth were caused by a curse. Almost immediately after his birth, the baby boy was taken from his mother to distance him from any curse that may have afflicted her. No one could have known the power of this child, or that he would forever change his ancient realm and kingdom into a modern nation. No one present could have known that he would inspire billions of people, be praised as a living manifestation of the Almighty, hated by some as a tyrant, or that he would forever change Africa and the world. For a moment, the moment of the birth of the baby boy, the angel of death was defeated, and evil was forced to retreat. On July 23rd, 1892, in that mountainous land, in the midst of a crippling drought, the heavens opened and released life-giving water. The land, scorched by the seemingly omnipresent sun, was granted relief. The rain fell relentlessly from the sky and replenished the earth. Let me just give you a little bit more.
Well, Frank, unto us a son was born and a child was given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. And his name shall be called the Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Them call him Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Lidj Tafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England or Côte d'Ivoire, no matter if you're brown or black like Qatar. Haile Selassie I end all tribal war. A time fi gather Mount Zion, fi drive solar car from the car straight to Zanzibar. Who we are, the sons of Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Lidj Tafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Royal governor from the age of 13 years. Leave the palace, fi go back in a school with him peers. He's the head without fear, he's one to be revered. When them call his name, then the heathen scare.